Hey, welcome to an episode of Catholic Momcast. I am your host, Maria Johnson, and with me today is Allison Gingras, and we're going to have a fun conversation, aren't we, Allison?
I'm really looking forward to this. I'm so clueless about all of these topics that I think I'm about to get very edumacated, as my son
Uh,
used to say.
Educated. I think that this is a generational thing, and let's just give the recap. You found this article called Eight Parenting Trends We Hope to Say Goodbye to in 2025. And just the title itself, it just makes me think that this is one of those trendy things. And
Hmm.
trends are important, right? We follow trends and we get caught up in them, and then sometimes they just fade away.
Yes.
And so, what was it that struck you about this trend in parenting?
One, that I'm so clueless about any of these because I guess I haven't. I mean, I'm a parent clearly, but my kids are 19, 26, and almost 30. So it's been quite a while since I've had to parent in the group, like community parenting, where I have to kind of be aware of what other people are doing, or get my kids to activities or parties. Or so I was just struck, I think, by this culture of parenting that I didn't know existed, and how I'm just fascinated by it. I guess that's what, bottom line.
Well, I think that when we were parenting our very young children, we would look for milestones, right? Things like their first steps, um, maybe their first birthday was a big affair for the family. The kid certainly was clueless, except for the cake, right? But but even with that, I think the trend changed to the smash cake. Have you seen those pictures
I have
online?
seen those. I've been at a couple of those parties.
Yeah. But it seems that what this article points out is that we have moved away from milestones, which are these big events, and they're calling them inch stones, right? These inch stone celebrations, like the gender reveals. It wasn't just, oh, we found out we're having a boy or we found out we're having a girl. It's, we're going to bring in everybody that came to all the family parties and the friends parties, and we're going to have a big celebration to reveal with an explosion of color, you know the gender reveal. Listen, I think it's fun. I think that all of these activities are fun, and I don't criticize any of them. I think it's fabulous.
Can I just my favorite? I'm not a big YouTube watcher, but I have to say that my favorite reels and YouTubes are the gender reveal fails.
Yes.
They I have to say those videos are just my absolute favorite. Like the balloon that blows away, and like, all right, sorry.
I always
I
like I
digress.
always like the when there's twins, and there's a blue one and a pink one that explodes. So I look at these inch stone celebrations, and I think that they're a lot of fun. Um, I I don't really agree with the article saying that these things have to go away, but I think that we need to also speak to the parents who live in the land of overwhelm and
Mm.
feel the peer pressure that you have to celebrate all of these things and you have to do all of these things in such a grand way. And I think that we need to acknowledge that that's not always the healthy choice or the practical choice or even the time choice.
The example the article gave, which I never even thought of, was the first tooth fairy party. I was like, well, that's kind of cute, right? Like, like, all right. I just
Yeah.
very creative. I just think parents are creative. I was just talking to Victoria Hassan, who is our social media specialist for Catholic Mom, and we were talking about the generation changes for just getting engaged and marriage. My son just got married, and like the promposal, like that wasn't a thing when I was a young woman, and like these engagement proposals are kind of like promposals on steroids. They're beautiful though. Like, I am not knocking them. I'm kind of jealous because my proposal was literally driving around a rotary after a failed dinner proposal attempt, and me crying, and my husband saying, "Yeah, the ring's in the bleep glove compartment." No, we were 21, and no, we weren't even 21. We were 20 and 22.
Your
So
proposal was a fight.
it was a fight with a swear word.
Allison.
And so I opened the glove compartment and there was the ring. And so
Oh,
he's like, "Well," and I go, "You haven't asked me yet," through tears. And he goes, "Well, will you marry me?" So this is him driving, me
oh,
holding the ring.
oh
And
my
yeah, I
gosh.
said yes. 36 years later, it worked out. But I guess having that perspective, these weekend away or these highly like Princess Cinderella proposals are just, they're over the top and they're beautiful and I love them. But then like their bachelorette parties, they go away for whole weekends. We went out one night around this little hooky town I live in. Like it's just funny to see the differences. But these inch parties, like yeah, I think this is kind of all that extension of how. But what Victoria said that really struck me was that um, COVID played a role in the idea that, like, for this group right now, they didn't get to travel for much of their young adulthood. So the weekends away for their engagements have become like this way of kind of making up for that. So I thought that was kind of an interesting perspective that they all are looking now to have adventures and go away, and not everybody has the money to do that. But if
Right,
they pull their money together and do it, then and like all the friends are getting married, so they kind of do it for each other. She said
right.
that that to her is where this kind of started, these weekends away. I'm like, that's very interesting. It's an
Well,
interesting
I like
perspective.
that. I like that idea because you're right. Sometimes you don't have the time. You certainly maybe don't have the resources to take a 10-day family vacation. But sure, there's even a staycation that's done well
Yeah,
can
I love
be.
stations.
Yeah, yeah, I can embrace those too. Yeah, so these inch stones. I just love that concept. But like this week, at the schools, I think that the schools also contribute to a lot of this stuff. I saw a post for the beginning of the school year that was kind of funny because it was about all the things that you have to buy for school. The
Oh,
paper, the pens, whatever, the notebook, this size notebook, this color, whatever, blah 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 blah. And and then the parents were laughing because they were creating the side list, the list that they don't publish. And it's because there's 43 there's 36 weeks in the school year, but there's like 43 spirit weeks. Where you have to, then you have to get the t-shirt and you have to get the funny socks and you have to get the funny hat and all of this stuff. And I'm
yep.
like, wow, maybe a lot of that is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of it can create stress, and I think that we
It,
need to give ourselves permission that we don't have to
yes.
do everything that comes across.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly, and that you can do it less perfectly. Like, my daughter's school, just they have their spirit week, and I forget exactly what it was, but it was like you had to have a certain color shirt, and I couldn't find that color shirt. It was like maybe orange. So we found like a creative way for her to, like, orange socks or an orange, like we put orange on her, but I wasn't able to perfectly do what needed to be done. And I just kind of had to be okay with that because I have that kid that tells me something is due the next day at like 9 p.m. right before bedtime. Oh, by the way, mom, here's that list. So I think, again, that grace, giving yourself grace, that that day is going to be just fine. It is one day in many of their school year. They will, and her, some of her classmates thought it was really cool that she had whatever. I think it was orange socks or a scarf. I can't remember. I probably did it more than once because she's been in school for a long time. But
and it hasn't occurred to you just to get an orange T-shirt to
well,
have
they
in
change it
reserve.
every year. No, they change it every year. Like green. I don't know. Anyway, so again, I love that idea, Maria, that we gotta give ourselves grace, that this is just 1 year, 1 day in the school year, and we're teaching them resilience. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that resilience is very important, and but I also, one thing that I really appreciate about this generation of parents is that they're always looking to other angles to follow through with tradition. In other words, they're staying with some traditions, but they're also finding their way to explore them in a different way. And one of the trends that I've really enjoyed since Halloween is around the corner is the trunk or treat
Mm,
instead of letting them loose in the neighborhood. I think that people are just not comfortable with that anymore. I'm certainly not.
Right.
And I mean, we did the trick or treat. I did when I was a child the wild trick or treating, where my parents I would hobble together a costume from whatever I could find in the house, and then
Yes. I'd
we
be gone
would
for
go out like a
hours.
pack. We would leave like a pack of wolves and torment everyone in the neighborhood. Um, and then my children had it kind of supervised because the parents, um, we had our own little party going on as we followed them up and down the streets. But I love the trunk or treat.
I've seen
And
a lot of churches doing that, which is
yeah,
really cool because it's also a nice way to build community in your school or your church.
100%.
I do. I love that as well. And you get to see all the costumes. Like one of the things I didn't like about going with my child trick or treating is that I loved when they came to the door and you get to see all the cute little
Oh yeah.
costumes and just ooh and ah over them. I remember growing up, I had a neighbor, sweetest old couple. They had to take our pictures every single year. We had to go in. They took our picture. It was just such a beautiful it was the only time I really saw them all year long. They worked with my dad, so I knew they were safe people. But I just think about I would have loved to have seen that stack of photos from years and years of
Yeah.
all the little kids coming to their house and making them. And they used to make the homemade popcorn balls that were so delicious. Back there, if you knew the people, you felt safe eating homemade food. But I don't know, it just
Yeah, I don't think that that's a thing anymore. But they do. Like our parish has a trunk. I don't know why I can't say that
trunk.
today. Trunk or treat. And my women's group always decorates a car. And one of the women in the group says, I'll take care of it. She has one of those small SUVs, and she's a preschool teacher.
Oh,
So yes. So our decorated trunk is always stellar because she goes all out. But there's food. Sometimes last year I think they brought food trucks to the event. So
oh,
it
that's even
does
more fun.
so it turns into an event, and you're right, it does become community. And so change is good sometimes, and easy to embrace, especially when it's a lot of fun like that.
It is. What else is on this list of funness?
Please, the skincare routine.
Oh, that one made me laugh. Kids who have more luxed skincare routines than their parents. I love this. I I do tell, people if I could go back and tell my teen and 20-year-old self one thing, I would tell them to take better care of themselves, to
Yeah,
take better
100.
care of their skin, to take better care of their bodies, to because now, entering into my almost into my 60s, I'm starting to have high blood pressure issues and praise God, I've kind of figured out that walking and exercise now helps me stay healthy. But my goodness, if I'd only figured that out, like if I'd only learned to eat better. So I do like the idea that we're taking care of our kids' skins, protecting them from skin cancer, but I don't think they need $50 bottles of moisturizer at 3. I don't know. Call me crazy. And I'm sorry if you're the mom who's like disagreeing with me. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying I'm cheap.
No, absolutely, but absolutely I never used any kind of sunscreen when I was a
No.
kid, and I'm paying for it now because I have some things that periodically need to get removed. So kudos to the moms for that
Yes.
skincare routine. Excellent, excellent. Listen, the one I want to talk about is the
Mhm.
food. Did you ever do the article talks about uh, the dinners without dad when dad's working late or not or on I was going to say on a field trip, on a business trip, uh, to do the crazy meals. Did you ever do that? I did
Um,
that with my kids.
I think I'm not like a cooking kind of person, so my whole life has
Oh.
been kind of like the crazy meals, but please go on for like people who actually make meals.
Oh, like let the kids make their own dinner. Like, okay, well, do you want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Knock yourself out. Here's the bread. Here's the jelly. You want grape or you want strawberry? Are you a grape or a strawberry jelly person? Or if you want mac and cheese, let's make mac and cheese out of a box.
That would have been a normal meal for my family. See, and growing up, my dad worked the night shift. So my mother and him would have a nice lunch. So when I was home, like from school when I was younger, or if I was home for the day, I would have that kind of meal. But at dinner, at nighttime, she'd already made the big meal for the day. We'd either have leftovers or we would have the cereal, the mac and cheese in the box, um the TV dinners were really big when I was growing up. And my husband doesn't, he's always home for dinner and he doesn't go much. And he likes his meals, luckily nothing fancy because I don't know to do fancy. But on Sundays, we call it Fend for Yourself Day. And that's when the kids would go get cheese and crackers, or like I do insist on at least like some protein, grab a yogurt. But yeah, that's so. Did you do that with your kids?
Oh yeah, we used to do it all the time because it was just easier for me, And at that point, I was working. I was teaching high school, so I was out before the kids were out from elementary school. Um, and sometimes we would just stop and go through a drive-through and pick up, and that was a treat. And it was a treat for the kids, but let's be honest, it was a treat
Oh
for
yeah.
me. I was exhausted.
Yes.
there was this chicken place in Miami that was fabulous. It wasn't like a KFC kind of place. It was the like one of those braised, not braised, the what are those chickens that you can get at Costco now? The
Oh, rotisserie.
rotisserie. It was like a rotisserie chicken place, and it had great sides. And it was, boy, I ate there once a week. Yeah, we would pick it up on the way home, go through the drive-through, everybody in the back seat, throwing out their ideas for what sides they wanted. And yeah, it was a time saver. It was a sanity saver for me. But I liked the trend a few years ago. Girl dinner. Did you ever see that trend? What's a
I
girl
did
dinner?
not. What is a
Uh,
girl dinner?
Whatever it is that you want to eat. If it's a glass of wine and some cheese and that's what you're calling dinner, go for it. Uh,
Well, let's just face it.
I have had Coke and popcorn.
Charcuterie boards are just those little, you know,
Lunchables.
it's just a Lunchable with a glass of wine instead of juice.
Honestly, that's the way to go. That's the way to go.
I don't
Well,
have a problem with charcuterie board dinners.
oh my gosh. Well, the article was funny because it did point out some things that I think that maybe just generationally they were new to us. Um, but I don't I don't judge it. If you want to jump into 83 trends in the year and you've got the time and the resources to do it,
But
knock
in the
yourself out.
article,
It's fun.
the article was from parents, and it did actually offer lots of grace. Like that's what I liked about the like it's poking fun at the trends, but it's also giving people at the end. It said choice. Like if you're gonna
Mhm.
make these choices, but don't judge others who don't make these choices, and don't judge those who do make these choices. Like I think that's kind of the bottom line is that that's the beauty of living in a free world, right? This is the beauty of free will that God gives us. This is the beauty of being um, you'll be who you are made to be, and you will set the world on fire. Saint Catherine of Siena. Like embrace the things that make you happy, but don't feel you have to embrace the things that stress you out.
That's
If that
right.
if that's not who you are, no shade. Like there should be no shade. We shouldn't be making people feel badly because their daughter goes to school in the orange sweater instead of the orange t-shirt or whatever it is that they were supposed to show up in. Just saying.
Oh, well, listen, I think that it was just a funny conversation to have today. And I don't usually ask for people to engage with us, but I really do want to
Mm.
hear what are your favorite trends? What are your favorite celebrations of inch stones instead of milestones?
That sounds wonderful. We'd also like, while you're commenting, let us know like topics you'd like us to cover. Like what is it you need, moms out there, to help you in your vocation? That's what Catholic Mom is all about, supporting women in their vocation of motherhood, of womanhood, and in your spirituality. So let us help you. Let us know what you need. We have 140 amazing contributors waiting to share their thoughts and expertise as moms.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Allison. And thank you, listeners, for joining us this week. And we'll be back next week with more Catholic Momcast.